What if doing the bare minimum at work wasn't laziness, but wisdom? What if choosing not to hustle could actually bring you closer to the life you truly want? Stick around because we're about to reframe what it means to be a successful woman, and why doing less at work might just be the most powerful thing you ever do. Welcome to Sacred Flame Sisterhood, a sanctuary for women who hunger for depth, defy the script, and carry a sacred fire in their bones. If that's you, I'm so glad you're here. Subscribe to join a sisterhood of healing, empowerment, and the sacred journey back to ourselves. Now let's dive in. Let's get something straight. You weren't created to spend your one precious life chasing promotions and approval. You weren't meant to pour your soul into quarterly goals while your passions collect dust. And you definitely don't need to prove your worth by working late nights, skipping weekends, or sacrificing your joy. This idea that women have to outwork, out-hustle, and out-sacrifice everyone to be taken seriously, it's not empowerment, it's exploitation. And it's time we said no more. Let's talk about this thing called work ethic. It's a phrase we're raised to admire, drilled into us by bosses, parents, teachers, but we need to ask, who does that ethic really serve? In her book Burnout, Emily Nagoski writes about how the modern workplace was never designed for women, especially not women with dreams, families, or creative fire. The system rewards overwork, not wisdom. And it punishes rest, as if exhaustion is a badge of honor. But listen, no corporation, no company, no boss is ever going to care about your well-being more than you do. They may call you family, but don't be fooled. If budget cuts hit or your performance slips, they won't hesitate to replace you. A real family doesn't look for ways to cut you out when you no longer serve their goals. So let's stop glorifying the sacrifice of our time, energy, and well-being for jobs that leave us empty, and start honoring the parts of us that crave meaning, joy, and freedom. Because why give them your spark when you could be feeding the fire of something that truly fulfills you? Maybe you've seen it firsthand. Your coworkers jump at every opportunity to take on more, volunteering for extra tasks, staying late to impress the boss, and your boss applauds it, praising those who go above and beyond as the gold standard, the kind of employee everyone should strive to be. But let's be honest, going above and beyond is just code for handing over more of your life to a job that will never love you back. It's a subtle manipulation, dressed up as ambition, but designed to keep you overextended, overcommitted, and quietly exploited. If your coworkers want to trade their energy for applause, let them. If your boss wants to reward burnout, let them. But you're not here to win at office politics. You're here to build a life that actually lights you up. You are allowed to opt out. You are allowed to do what you were hired to do, and nothing more. You are allowed to protect your time and energy without shame. You are allowed to save your brilliance for something that actually belongs to you. Your passion, your purpose, your life. Doing the bare minimum at work isn't laziness. It's strategy. It's the wisdom to know that your job isn't your identity. It's just one piece of your life, and that life is far too precious to be drained by tasks that don't feed your soul. Because the energy you give to your job will be gone tomorrow. But the energy you give to your dreams, that's what builds your future. Here's the truth. You don't need to compete with people who have decided to make work their life. Let them. Let them chase titles and promotions and emails at midnight. You've got more to live for. Your passions, your creativity, your relationships, your peace, and no, you're not selfish for wanting those things. You're awake. Science backs this up. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology showed that chronic overwork leads to lower productivity, higher rates of depression, and decreased job satisfaction, especially in women. Even ancient wisdom warned us. The Tao Te Ching teaches that nature does not hurry, and yet everything is accomplished. The Bible reminds us there is a time to work and a time to rest. Virginia Woolf said, "No need to hurry, no need to sparkle. No need to be anybody but oneself. You don't need to hustle harder. You need to come home to yourself. Let's kill the myth that doing less means you're failing. Because in reality, doing less at work can mean doing so much more with your life. Imagine this. You clock out on time, and instead of staying late to prove your worth, you go home and pour that energy into your side hustle, the thing that actually lights you up. You start building your brand, your dream, your empire. You spend real present time with your kids, not just half listening while answering emails. You laugh deeply with your partner. You start writing that book you've been carrying inside you for years. You finally take the leap on that business you've always wanted to create. You don't become less ambitious. You become more alive. And yes, we all need money. We all need stability. But let's be clear, a job is just that. A job. If it's not your passion, don't let it drain the very life you're working so hard to build. Doing the bare minimum at work isn't laziness. It's strategy. It's the wisdom to know that your job isn't your identity. It's just one piece of your life. And that life is far too precious to be drained by tasks that don't feed your soul. The energy you give to your job will be gone tomorrow. But the energy you give to your dreams, that's what builds your future. It's not selfish. It's survival. And it might just be your revolution. This doesn't mean quitting tomorrow or burning bridges. It means redefining what enough looks like. It means giving your job the energy it deserves. No more, no less. Doing the bare minimum to keep your paycheck and protect your peace? That's not slacking. That's strategy. It's saying, my time is mine. My energy is sacred. And I'm choosing to invest it where it matters most. You weren't meant to go through the motions and live for a paycheck. You weren't born to fulfill someone else's expectations of success. You were meant to live for yourself, not the projections of others. When women reclaim their time and energy from systems that exploit them, the world gets better. We get art. We get healing. We get leadership rooted in care and wisdom. We get businesses that nourish instead of exploit. We get mothers who are present, creators who are bold, and women who are finally awake. Think about this. No one, and I mean no one, lies on their deathbed saying, I wish I'd spent more time at work. That quote's often credited to Bronnie Ware, a nurse who spent years caring for the dying. She wrote a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, and I wish I hadn't worked so hard was right near the top. So if you're feeling tired, uninspired, and trapped in the 9 to 5, you're not failing. You're waking up. Here's the truth. The world doesn't need more people going through the motions, living for a paycheck, and shrinking themselves to meet other people's expectations. It needs more people who are awake, people who are creating, building, loving, living fully. Imagine what this world would look like if more of us stopped living on autopilot and started living for what truly moves us. If we gave ourselves permission to prioritize joy, curiosity, and purpose not just in our free time but as a way of life, we'd have more beauty, more truth, more connection, less burnout, less bitterness. Because a world where people live for themselves, not for someone else's bottom line, is a world that breathes more freely. And when you choose to live like that, you don't just change your life, you give others the courage to change theirs too. You're allowed to want more life, more freedom, more time, more joy. Not just on weekends, not just on vacation, but every single day. This isn't laziness. It's courage. It's liberation. It's returning to yourself. Because the world needs more women who are lit up from within, not burned out from the grind. You are not lazy. You are not falling behind. You are finally starting to see clearly. You don't need to do more to be more. Your value isn't measured by output. Your worth isn't up for negotiation. You are allowed to live a life that feels good, not just looks good. And that begins when you stop overworking and start choosing you. You're not alone, and you're not here to just survive. You're here to thrive. If this video resonated with you, share it with someone who needs permission to slow down, let go, and reclaim their life. What's one thing you'd start doing or give more of yourself to if you stopped overworking? Drop it in the comments. Let's remind each other what really matters. Thank you for being here with me in Sacred Flame Sisterhood. Let your inner fire light the way home.